They said a single submarine couldn't change the course of war, but they were wrong. In the dark waters of the Pacific, something was moving silently, something that the Japanese fleet never saw coming. It wasn't a battleship, it wasn't an aircraft carrier. It was USS Sculpin's sister, USS Scamp, USS Swordfish, and among them, the USS Scorpion's Shadow, the USS Sculpin's Avenger, the USS Sculfish. But tonight, our story isn't about fame, it's about fire beneath the waves, when USS Sculfish, USS Sculpin's kin, turned into a hunter that Japan would remember forever. December 1942, the Pacific Ocean was a graveyard of steel, full of sunken dreams and broken ships. From the depths, USS Sculfish surfaced, like a ghost. Captain Lucius Chapman stood in the periscope room, staring at the horizon. 3 destroyers, 1 cruiser, moving fast, the sonar officer whispered. Chapman smiled slightly. Gentlemen, let's make history. They dived. Silence. Every man aboard held his breath. Sonar pings echoed, like heartbeats in the deep. 1 destroyer turned, searching. But it was too late. Torpedoes, fire 1, fire 2. With a hiss, the deadly tubes launched. Moments later, boom, the sea exploded. A Japanese destroyer split open like paper, flames swallowing the deck. The crew of USS Sculfish shouted, fists in the air, but quietly. The war wasn't over, Chapman whispered, stay deep. Reload tubes. For the next 3 days, the sub stalked its prey, sinking ship after ship. Each torpedo found its mark, transport ships, fuel carriers, even a small escort. By the time the 3rd night ended, the Japanese fleet had lost more than it could count. In Tokyo, panic spread. Who was doing this? The Japanese started calling it the Ghost of the Pacific, a submarine that struck without warning and vanished. But underwater, things weren't so easy. Pressure gauges shook, depth charges rolled down from enemy ships. Each explosion was a thunderclap of death. One after another, boom, boom, boom. Lights flickered, pipes burst, men fell to the floor. For hours, the crew of USS Sculfish sat in darkness, praying that their steel coffin would hold. And it did. When they rose again at nightfall, the ocean was silent. Only burning oil floated above, the remains of their enemy. Chapman stared through the periscope and whispered, we live to fight another night. That night, the submarine sailed west, deeper into Japanese waters, into the heart of danger itself. Because this was not the end, it was only the beginning of the USS Sculfish's reign beneath the waves. The following months turned the USS Sculfish into a legend. In early 1943, she was assigned to patrol near the Philippines, one of the most dangerous areas of the war. Convoys guarded by destroyers, skies watched by planes, no place for mistakes. But to Chapman and his men, fear was fuel. One evening, sonar picked up a massive target, a heavy cruiser, protected by 2 escorts. Chapman's voice was calm. Set depth 30 feet, tubes 1 to 4 ready. The submarine rose, like a shadow under a mirror. Through the periscope, he saw it, the red sun flag on the enemy ship. Fire 1, a torpedo streaked away, then another. The crew waited in silence. 10 seconds, 15, then, boom, the sea erupted. The cruiser's midsection lifted out of the water. Flames danced in the night. Japanese sailors screamed as fire consumed steel. Within minutes, 2 escorts turned, depth charges ready. Chapman yelled, dive, dive. They plunged, 50, 100, 200 feet. Explosions rained above them like the drums of hell. Every creak of metal sounded like the end. But the submarine held. For 12 hours, the Japanese hunted the ghost. But the ghost had already vanished. Weeks later, USS Sculfish returned to Pearl Harbor, the crew exhausted but victorious. Their log showed 5 confirmed sinkings. But Chapman's words at the ceremony silenced everyone. Each ship we sank wasn't for medals. It was for every American ship that went down before us. In the months that followed, USS Sculfish continued her silent war, cutting through the Pacific like a blade of vengeance. When the war finally turned, and Japan began to retreat, whispers remained, of a submarine that never missed, never rested. And when the guns went silent, and peace returned, USS Sculfish sailed back home. Rusty, scarred, but undefeated. As she entered the harbor, her crew stood in silence. Chapman looked at the horizon, the same one he'd watched before the first strike, and said softly, the sea remembers everything. And it did. Beneath those quiet waves lie stories of fire, courage, and men who fought without being seen. USS Sculfish wasn't just a submarine, she was a shadow that fought for light. If you felt the pulse of history tonight, then don't forget to like, share, and comment your thoughts below. Watch the full story, support the channel, and keep this forgotten courage alive. Because every wave still whispers the name of the USS Sculfish. Please don't forget subscribe and like share my videos. Thanks.